So if you've seen any of my recent shorts, you might think that I prefer playing intermission tracks over 3-lap tracks exclusively. And I just have to say, no, that is entirely false. So then why am I making these shorts praising intermission tracks and praising the new update, saying that this was a good change and we should actually embrace this change as a whole? Well, I think there's a difference between liking something and seeing how it's actually beneficial to the popularity of the game. So when the update first dropped, my reaction was the exact same as a lot of the big YouTubers. Oh, Mario Kart World is dead. It's not fun now. You know, yada yada yada. I had that exact same, and it was a gut punch. You know, I was actually really sad for, you know, the couple hours after the update came out. But in my sorrow, I decided to just play online and see what it's like to play. And to my surprise, I joined full rooms or nearly full rooms instantly. And you know, like I've been saying in my shorts, I wasn't really joining full rooms before, so I thought, maybe this is a good change for the health of the game. You know, as someone who's been playing Mario Kart since Mario Kart Wii, you know, it's not, you know, the most fun gameplay. And I know I just saw a comment. I'm not replying to any of the comments right now just because I'm like not in the best headspace to look at the comments, because you know, I know what I'm saying is controversial, but I still want my opinion to be out there because I think people should not hate on this update as much as it's getting. Yeah, I saw a comment that said, oh, so you like it that there's less skill online and you'd much rather that Mario Kart is less skill? And as someone who has younger cousins and younger siblings, I think that that having less skill on the online and even like having the game focused around a less skill-based format is actually good, because I would feel so guilty before playing, you know, against my younger cousins on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because I was just so much better at the game than they were, and it was unfair. And it wasn't like, you know, even if I like even if I like played bad and, you know, I gave them a chance, it just, I don't know, it wasn't fair to them, because I know as a little kid I would get frustrated if I saw someone purposefully playing bad just because they saw that, you know, oh, he's a little kid, so I should go easy on him. I hated that fucking shit. But like in a game like Mario Kart, on especially certain tracks, and especially on certain tracks in this game like Shy Guy Bazaar, Great Question Block Ruins, you know, Whistle Top Summit, dude, you can get some disgusting leads. On Wario Stadium, you can get some disgusting leads because the shortcuts are just that powerful. And for a little kid that just, you know, plays the game after school, you know, only has an hour or two to play the game a week or whatever, you know, because their parents don't let them play, they can't really get that good at the game as someone who even has a job but like plays, you know, a couple hours at the end of the day. So like having that low skill format lowers the barrier of entry for people to play. And my thought process behind those shorts was that the more people we have enjoying this game, the better. Because one, like, dude, this game is a child's party game. That it's a Nintendo game. There's Mario Kart, there's Mario characters. These are all directed towards little kids. Sure, a lot of the fan base is now older since we've grown up with the series. You know, we've played since, you know, Mario Kart DS, maybe even, you know, Mario Kart 64, even maybe, you know, you've played from the original. And, you know, like I said, as someone who's grown up on Mario Kart Wii, I do prefer playing 3-lap tracks because, you know, I'm a lot older now and I can get a lot better at the game than I was, you know, when I was 10 years old trying to beat my cousins and my older cousins in Mario Kart Wii. So obviously I want Nintendo to still have a 3-lap format. I agree with people who are saying that Nintendo should just add a 3-lap format, and I think that Nintendo should push competitive harder than it has ever been, almost like you know how like Pokemon does it, dude. Like there's obviously, you know, the games have gotten easier, quote unquote, you know, they made, you know, you can't turn off XP share now, and, you know, a bunch of other different things that they've changed to Pokemon that has made the game easier in a lot of people's minds. So I am completely fine with Nintendo making the game easier, but what I am not fine with is that they are shutting out, you know, it seems like they're kind of, you know, just shushing or keeping the competitive community dormant, or, you know, just not really paying much attention to it. The one big thing that I think is like they don't understand competitive, or they don't understand, you know, hardcore players, is that they don't allow us to see the individual lap times on time trials anymore. It's like, what the fuck, man? Dude, that was so like Like that was so important for comparing times to other people, and especially to like the world record, is just seeing like, oh, which of my 3 laps was faster, which lap do you think or which lap do I need to improve, and different things like that. Like that's such an important part. I mean, it's fine, I'm still able to improve, and I'm able to. And one thing I do like that they changed is that you're able to download people's ghosts within like 100th of a second faster than you. That's actually a really, really solid change. So I don't know, maybe I don't know what they were thinking about the 3 lap, but they did make a good change there. But in terms of the intermission tracks, I just think that it's good because it lowers the barrier of entry for online play. And again, this is directed towards kids, and kids aren't going to be doing the most crazy advanced strats. And whether we like it or not, most casual players, like very, very casual players, new players, especially if Nintendo's trying to grow the Mario Kart franchise and get new players to come in, most people are just going to be driving in a straight line. They're just going to be doing basic turning. They might not even drift, dude. A lot of people, like I've seen like even YouTubers that are like Dashy, dude. I love Dashy. Dashy's hilarious. Beefboss, dude. Beefboss is hilarious. And if you watch how they drive, a lot of the time the way that they drive is just turning. They barely even drift and stuff like that. So like, take that to a kid or someone else who just doesn't enjoy taking the game that seriously. That's the perfect way to enjoy Mario Kart and not have to worry about getting steamrolled by anyone online. And not even to mention that the fact that the VR system is completely ass. It's so ass. The way that it, like I showed in my short, dude, there are people who have 4,000 less VR than me put in my room, and like the way that it's distributed, dude, like people will always gain VR. The VR will always go up. Like it's not like an MMR like that we have in Discord, because in Discord and in chess, what you have is you start off at a certain elo. So like in lounge, it's either 4,000 MMR or 5,000 MMR, and you start off there. And I think in chess you start off around 1,000 when you make a new account. And those 1,000 points can either be lost or gained. And it's a perfect way to measure skill, because if you lose against someone in chess, the points that they gain will come from your base elo. So it's the perfect way to be like, okay, so I beat this person, I take their points, now their points are lower, and now they should go against someone with similar, skill level. And it's the same thing with MMR. In the 12-player room, the half portion that the bottom half of the room, their points, the points that they lose, go to the top 6. And that's the perfect way to measure skill. But VR, it's not a perfect system. It is not. It's really not. So if you guys want to complain and say like, oh, VR solved this skill issue problem, no, it doesn't. It really doesn't. So as much as I don't like this change, and as much as I want Nintendo to add a 3 laps only format, and I want Nintendo to promote competitive, because the competitive in Mario Kart World, I feel like would be the most fun to watch out of any Mario Kart in the series in the past. I feel like this is a good change to keep the game as accessible and as popular as possible, because dude, we don't want Mario Kart World to die. If you love Mario Kart, you don't want this game to be a niche underground game. Nintendo is a very big company, and we want Mario Kart to be popular, because then that means that we're gonna get updates, we're gonna get maybe even new tracks, we're gonna get DLC, we're gonna get the quality of life, they're gonna fix the bugs and everything like that. Like we want this game to be popular. If the game is popular, that is good for us competitive hardcore players. And if it's not, and the game dies, like dude, that's horrible. If people like Shortcat, they're not going to be able to make their content anymore because no one cares about the game. TWD, all these big Mario Kart creators that we love, they won't be able to make their content and get in the views and be able to do the content that they love. They might either have to quit and do something else, or they might have to start playing another game, and I would hate for that to happen. So this is why I think that this change is good, and whether I like it or not, I feel like it will have a positive impact on how many people buy the Switch 2 and how many people buy Mario Kart World. And sure, there's always that discussion, they need to lower the prices and things like that. I agree with that as well, but I think this is a good step in the right direction, just for the popularity of the game. And hopefully Nintendo hears us and they start promoting competitive, because I feel like it could be a big thing like Smash. It could be a big thing like Pokemon. And if they had prizes for these Mario Kart events, dude, that would be so awesome, because the competitive community is so small. We can't host prize pool events and stuff like that. I mean, it would be cool if Shortcat hosted a tournament, or TWD hosted a tournament. I would love to do stuff like that if my channel grows big enough, but I'm obviously 300 subscribers, and so I can't really do that. But yeah, I don't know, that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. Obviously, I'm not the competitive Mario Kart player in me, pause on that, is not happy about it. But as someone who wants this game to do well, and wants it to be popular, so I can make content on it, and other creators can make content on it, I think that this is a good change. So that's all I'm gonna say on this. This is the last video I'm gonna make on all this, and I'm not gonna look at the comments. Like I said, I just don't really want to deal with that right now, and then I'll get back to posting regular tips and tricks and competitive Mario Kart stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this helped clear up my thoughts on this whole thing, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.